Good day everyone, my name is Christopher Jim T. Canuday, a second-year criminology student at the Davao Central College. For today's video, I'm going to make our week 6 about law enforcement code of ethics. As a law enforcement officer, my fundamental duty is to serve mankind. Too often we forget that enforcement is not a job for which we are hired as one we would hire a laborer. It involves a sworn duty. Service involves dedication and sacrifice of giving oneself. These words that may find hard to swallow in the present day and the age, but the job of professional law enforcement requires a special breed man to safeguard life and property, to protect innocent against deception, the weak against oppression or intimidation, and peaceful against violence or disorder. We must, however, understand some of the limitations that present in a truly democratic society. In such a society as ours, this task can be a difficult one because protecting the rights of the criminal this is sometimes a hard pill for law enforcement officer to swallow. It is easy for an officer to become bitter when he has continually witnessed the ends of justice toward by red tape politics and technicalities of the law. The more truly idealistic he is, the more frustrated he can become, especially if he lacks of philosophy or understanding of the true purpose of society which he serves. To respect constitutional rights of all men and liberty equal and justice, respecting the rights of others is one of the man's natural qualities. It seems to be part of his nature and suspect prestigious justice on earth now he will never be because man is not working at all nor he is himself perfectly. Still we must strive a form of justice that represents our ultimate capability. This involves not only on the part of every person on the community but individual sacrifice as well. I will keep my private life unsoiled as an example to all. One of the most first things that the law enforcement shall be learned is that he has no private life. Every citizen should be entitled to his own private life, yet when a person accepts of calling law enforcement a, as a voluntary measure, he will be willing to offer privacy as a sacrifice with the good of the community which he serves. I, as a law enforcement officer, could hide from this neighbor the fact that he is a policeman, then his private life could be on his own. If a policeman has a family, his occupation will become known to the neighborhood within a few days and the most. If he is single, keeps himself, he may be secret little longer, but if he is engaged in a law enforcement within his community, his inevitably community that neighbor will become aware of it. Once this is known, he will become the object of constant observation. Maintain courage, calm in the face of danger, scorn or ridicule, or develop self-strain. Most officers prepared to face physical danger and public explicit it. This is due to the fact that when most people think that police work, they think of high-speed cases with guns blazing and similar situation in the officer's life in constant danger. In a democracy, a police officer is a public officer and such a servant to the community. Instead of being above reproach or ridicule, he must explain to have received his position as a part of his job. It is not easy to control his temper when being subjected to an unnecessary and unjustified scorn or ridicule. Whatever I see or hear of a confidential nature or that is confined to me in my official capability will keep secret unless revelation is necessary in performance of my duty. Some of officer that is different in that information obtained by the doctor and attorney is freely given with the understanding that it will be confidential where areas of information obtained as a part of the law enforcement officer can be result of many sources from the investigation. I will never permit personal feelings, prejudice, and animus or friendship to influence my decision. It is quite difficult to know which desire is strongest in some person to help our friends or to hurt other enemies. Both desires are part of human nature. Helping our friends can be very good in self, but then it involves the equality of the administration of justice where defending the oath we made in the community in which we serve. In police which we serve, in police work, there is ample opportunity to both hurt enemies and help friends and take personal strong character to properly perform his or her duty under the circumstances. This with professional conviction this can be impossible. I will never act officiously. They appear to the public to be overimpressed with their own importance in a way this is natural because it is associated with pride and new officer is usually very proud when he puts on his uniform and badge. No compromise for crime and within relentless persecution of criminals I will enforce the law conscientiously and appropriately without fear of favor, miracle or will. The term no will compromise for law means that is crime will not be knowing permitted. It doesn't mean that it is not officer must be performed duty to the letter of the law without taking into consideration or spirit of the law. No one can predict the guarantee the final result of the ethical. If an officer does give a due job, the criminal is released by the court. The blame results not upon him but upon the court of jurisdiction. I will never employ unnecessary force or violence. At all times use in force is an absolute necessary. It is not escaping. It is extremely difficult to judge exactly or not. The use of force used in a particular situation was necessary or not. The use of force is violence during integration oftenly produce intimate, avoided or ethical grounds in the interrogation seldom knows a certainly suspect is guilt or the use of force of the third degree on the innocent person is certainly a miscarriage of justice as well as the violation of the conduct. I will never accept gratitude. Gratitude taken two many forms. First, the gratitude is given by a person without solely the intent receiving from in return. Second, that is given solely but our respect for law enforcement and the job of the police officer are doing. To be truly professional, we must not first ethical. We must not do actually desire not merely be will be would to be desired. I recognize my badge, my office as a symbol of public faith, and I accept as a public trust to be held so long as I am true to the ethics of the police service. This is the most overlooked and forgotten phase law of the law enforcement men of the field. It is not enables an officer to suffer the duties, difficulties, and problems in the health. Police officer must understand that he is one of the most selected few. Officers should also understand that any personal reward will not be obtained from the public itself, for the public is difficult master and its personal to reward. From acknowledging significance, job, and essential role to the play in society, I will constantly strive achieve to this objective and ideas, dedicating myself before God to many chosen profession. Law enforcement proficiently in law enforcement involve many factors. Involves mental, moral, and physical conditioning. They are all important aspects. The officer who will let him sleep physically and certainly available to the protect of the society. The officer who is good in physical condition has more confidence in his ability, and this is sensed by those whom he, he deals, and as a result, he finds that necessary to extreme authority as much as he might otherwise. However, knowing and understanding the code of ethics is not enough. It is not actually practiced, it must believe. And I thank you.